Hello, we are Team Alpha and I will introduce the two alliance companies which the case was about. So, Amazon is an e-commerce company which is operating in North America and internationally, offering a range of different products through its websites. Amazon started its e-commerce operations in India in 2013. 1 year later, in 2014, it was announced that they would spend $2 billion on its Indian operations. Sellers joined Amazon from all over India, and 1 year later, 2015, the number of sellers joining Amazon was even 2 times bigger than last year. So Future Group was controlled by the guy Biani, known in India as the man who introduced large-scale retail to the country. Future Group operated chains like Food Hall, Planet Sports, E-Zone, and so on. The core value of the group was Indianness. Future Group believed in building a strong understanding of Indian consumers and built its business based on Indian ideas. In October 2014, two owners of these companies met to finalize a deal to sell brands from Future Group's portfolio on Amazon's marketplace in India. But there was also a downturn with this partnership, which we are trying to solve.
Thanks, Robert, for introduction. Following Vario table provides an outline of Amazon's non-core and core competencies. A Vario analysis, which stands for value, rarity, immutability, and organization, explain how the business managed to grow. Amazon core competencies are high global brand equity, high market capitalization, international network, and international market reach that satisfy all the Vario criteria. Non-core competencies satisfy only one or two of these criteria, but of course support business growth. Well, the next Vario table provides an outline of Future Group's non-core and core competencies. Future Group core competencies are management, high brand equity in India, and choice of locations that satisfy all the Vario criteria. Non-core competencies satisfy only one or two of these criteria, but they are also necessary for business growth. The other point is that India has more than 1 billion population with 52 million internet users, which is of course a big number. However, more than half of the population lives in rural areas, which means while e-commerce has a huge potential in India, offline stores are also necessary for undeveloped rural areas. Samuel will continue with Indian market and e-commerce.
Indian markets and e-commerce. Retailing industry was attractive to investors in India for its healthy condition of economy. Also, it's regarding clearly to the youth population and the cheap cost of labor. Number of millennials were increasing and therefore it affects the cost of labor. At least 47% of the Indian population are below the age of 25. Then about e-commerce sector. The most effective factor and benefit is successful and faster delivery of products. With the popularity of e-commerce, traditional retailers had to change their approach by partnering with e-commerce entities in order to grow and survive. Omnichannel strategy revolutionized the way of doing business. It allows customer, for example, to view and order products online, check store inventory and location, or reserve the product for pickup at the nearest store.
Amazon's deep interest in Indian growing retail business and together with Future Group advantage for both partners. For Future Group, this is a big growing step for future and it's not needed to sell steak even free. Together they change today's weak e-commerce to very strong and fast e-commerce business. They will get better selling prices from the very large of growing Indian market. Over this conflict will be changed to kind of gentleman agreement. The investment will exchange Amazon's existing portfolio of investment in the payments landscape in India. Indian law will be forced Amazon to use some Indian local partner to step in Indian markets. Amazon get access to one of the India's largest physical retail's consumers database. Even with this all very positive business advantage for both partners, our proposal is that Future Group will continue its own.
When we were planning what would be a successful strategy for Future Group, we had to keep in mind of all the positive as well as the negative effects of the alliance from Future Group's point of view. So here are the complications of the alliance. Well, first of all, if Future Group continues the alliance with Amazon, Amazon would be the exclusive online platform for the Future Group's brands. This could lower sales as the brands would have no visibility on other platforms. Another big issue regarding the alliance is the fact that the CEOs didn't really see eye to eye. They had disagreements on whether products should have discounts when sold online and should there be price differences when it comes to physical and online stores. Another problem was that the Indian government also restricted e-commerce companies from directly or indirectly affecting the selling prices online, for example, like heavy discounting. There would also be a small profit due to the price alignment between physical stores and high discounting e-sales. So therefore, we would propose that Future Group continues on its own.
Our proposed strategy would comprise of developing online channel which would enable for Future Group to compete in e-commerce on their own. We see the rise of importance of e-commerce in the retail industry in India and in the whole world. Share of e-commerce in retail rose by 28% in India from 2014 to 2015. And while that share is still a small amount, it presents great potential considering that India has third largest amount of internet users in the world. We also believe that Future Group should continue moderate physical store expansion because even though overall consumption in brick and mortar is falling, it still presents the most of spending in the retail industry. Also, one of the biggest problems with Future Amazon Alliance was that Future products were only on Amazon, even though Amazon isn't the biggest online retailer in India. That's why we would suggest only listing products there and on the other sites like Flipkart, which is the biggest player in the field. That way, Future could keep all of their margin, which could be used to compensate for costs of discrepancy in online and offline prices. It is said that efficient delivery and logistics system is key in e-commerce, and while Future Group already have a well-developed system and third-party arrangement, they should get it on the best possible level. Investment can be financed by their profits and also debt. Debt to capital ratio is only 0.44, which is below average, meaning that they are not using whole potentials of borrowed capital. Other e-commerce markets like China and UK were rising even faster than India, as seen before. For that reason, Future would also might like to get on those markets. Using OLI framework, we conclude that it would be the best to produce at home and export through online channels, because they have ownership advantage in form of strong brand, but not location advantage. This concludes our strategy and we believe it would result in best possible outcome.